Hello, I'm Aurélie Marie, working at the Sailboat Marketing Department, and it's my pleasure to welcome you on board the latest edition of the Sun Odyssey line, the Sun Odyssey 469. The Sun Odyssey 469 completes the new lineup between 37 and 50 feet. You'll find the principal attributes that make the Sun Odyssey range so successful: ergonomics, volume, performance, and style. With clean lines and elongated hull with a hard shine sign Philippe Briand, the Sun Odyssey 469 is a perfect blend of performance and ease of handling. In the interior, the 469 affords the comfort and volume typically found on a 50-foot sailboat. Little sister of the 509, the 469 is a performance and spacious offshore cruiser. And I'm here today with Eric Stromberg. Eric, can you tell us about the general specifications of this boat and what we need to know?
Yes, the Sun Odyssey 469 is a boat that is obviously 46 feet in length, 14.05 meters overall, 13 meters 65 on the hull length. The beam of the boat is 4 meters 49, and we offer two different keel configurations with the boat. We offer a deep keel, the standard keel for the boat, which is 2 meters 24, and a shoal draft keel at 1 meter 65. Let's go ahead and take a tour around the boat. The first thing you notice from the dock of the new Sun Odyssey 469 is this giant aft platform. This platform here it can be electrified, even with a remote control. It gives the cockpit a lot of extra space. It has integrated telescopic swimming ladder, so really a very nice space that makes the cockpit much bigger, whether you're at the dock or certainly when you're away at anchor. The next thing you see when you arrive is, of course, a very wide cockpit that is all at the same level. There are no steps. There is nothing really to get in your way. That makes the living on board very, very easy. You can see that the cockpit's divided into two sections. You have an aft section, which is where we have all of the steering systems, all of the electronics. The winches are all led aft here to the steering stations. And then forward we have more of a lounging entertainment area. And in that area there, a very large table with lots of space for guests. If we look at more in detail here at the steering station, you'll see here that what we've done on this boat is integrated in a GPS touchscreen at either helm. So you can have all of your information here really at your fingertips, all of the chart information, AIS information, all of your systems monitoring, depth, speed, wind, all of that is done right here from the helm, so nothing here not necessary to go walking around the cockpit to find it. We have, of course, as a signature of the Sun Odyssey range, the primary winches here, which are right in front of the helm, which of course can be electric winches. And here on these winches we have both the main sheet and the jib sheet coming back. And we even have the sheets coming back here, even when we have the self-tacking jib. The self-tacking jib sheet is led back here, so really a very hands-off, hands-free type sailing on the boat. Obviously our primary helm here is on the starboard side, where we have throttle control, and we have the optional autopilot control as well. One of the things you'll see here, and it is really a key feature of the boat, is the fact that this area here in the corner of either helm station is not at all disturbed by the use of the backstay. The backstay is, we've gone with a large central backstay, which means that you keep this corner completely open, and you can see that you can sit very easily outboard, all the way outboard without anything in your back. You have the good access to the wheel, you have your electronics. You see the sails very easily. You have you do have a footrest here that helps you stay here when the boat is heeled over and in bad weather. But otherwise, a very open area to drive the boat in, and that is really something that you should make sure everybody comes and sits down right here, because it's a fantastic spot to be on board the boat. The central backstay, as I said before, can have a hydraulic system for adjustment, so that's a nice little option. And the central backstay becomes a great place to hold on to. It becomes, in this very wide cockpit, a fantastic handhold as you move through the cockpit, and of course as you get on and off of the boat using the aft platform. As you move forward through the cockpit, you come to a very large cockpit table. The cockpit table is a real central part of the life in the cockpit. So here we've tried to integrate a lot of different functions into it. We have here, of course, areas here which are great for putting your cups, your glasses, your bottles, all of your loose items that can sit in this little recessed area here and keep them from being blown away. We have, of course, a storage locker in there which has bottle holders as well, so if you want to keep drinks out in the cockpit. We have a very innovative feature, of course, which is to bring the 360 docking system right here to the table. So that's our joystick docking system. The controls right here, so you're in the center of the boat. You can see both sides. You can very easily see behind you when you're using that. So that is something we have. We share also with the 509 this type of feature to have it right here in the center of the cockpit table. And a second control for the bow thruster, which means that you have a very easy control of the boat when using the 360 docking system from right here in the cockpit. Behind that we have some instrumentation which is optional. We have a chain counter and windlass control here, so that we can use that right from here, and also a repeater for various information, wind, speed, depth, etc. You'll see here that we have some switches on the side of the cockpit table, and these switches operate the indirect lighting that we have here on the top of the table. It operates the indirect lighting that we have around the table base, so for very nice in the evening you can light up the flooring of the cockpit, or even when at sea to give you better visibility during the night without giving you direct light. And then we have this third one here, which is an optional switch that is coming with the bimini. And the bimini for this boat integrates in LED lighting into the bimini arches, which means that you can have, with the bimini open in the evening, a very nice ambient light coming from the bimini as well. The table leaves here are very nicely sized. They can be either in fiberglass, so as the standard, or here as an option with the teak wood. So that's something that dresses up the table quite nicely. And of course can be delivered with or without a protective cover. The other thing that you find in this area of the cockpit is a lot of our storage compartments. So we have here two great cockpit lockers on either side. One of the nice features of the boat is to have gas lifting shocks on all of the cockpit lockers, which means that it's very easy to use. You don't have to worry about it falling down on your head. It's something that we have throughout the boat on either side here. And we have also two cockpit lockers that are underneath the helm stations in the back. And those are again on gas shocks. You can see also here forward we have a bunch of hull ports here that provide a lot of extra light and ventilation to the aft cabins. We'll see that when we get to the aft cabin. But we have a hull port here that's right at eye level as you walk into the aft cabin. We have one down here underneath the seating, and we have a hatch as well for that aft cabin. So a lot of space has been given over to making sure that the aft cabin has the proper light and ventilation. Another nice feature of the boat is the companionway door. You can see that I've come all the way forward on the cockpit here on one level, no steps, nothing to get in your way, very easily circulation around. And you can see the door sill is actually quite low as well, which means that you have a very easy step over to go into the interior. The two closing doors are sort of saloon style, so they are kept in place with a set of magnets, and that can be easily opened and closed, and even locked to close like this. And of course, a traditional sliding hatch. And these stow away with their magnets to either side of the cockpit. To either side of the opening here, we have our coach roof winches. We have here to port sort of the primary coach roof winch, which can be an electric winch, and this is where we have coming back the variety of halyards and so forth. And we have the starboard an optional winch, depending on what type of equipment you take for the boat. But certainly if you're using a classic mast with some extra bits and pieces like spinnaker, code zero, etc., that's a good choice for you. And we have below each winch here, which are not installed in the boat, but we have the ability to have some halyard bags, which keep it nice and clean when you're using the boat. Up on the foredeck of the very sleek, stylish 469, you can see we have a huge amount of space up here, very easy to move around. We've got a big sail locker access here, and that's a real key point to this boat. It's one of the few in this size range to have a sail locker of this size, or even to have a sail locker at all. So it becomes a great place to stow all that extra equipment that you'd have on board for a big offshore cruising boat. You can see forward of that there we have the electric windlass with the very easy access out to the double anchor roller, and we have a very deep anchor locker that's accessible here with the control and all of the equipment necessary. Big cleats out here, great for using a mooring system that is on a Pondy type system. You can see also here, this is a nice feature to point out. This is the optional fitting here for the releasable forestay. So when you do a releasable forestay, you can see that you have quite a bit of room between the primary forestay and the releasable forestay. As you move aft, you'll see as we go up onto the coach roof here that all of the hatches on the coach roof are flush hatches. So again, it contributes to the style as well as to the safety of the circulation on deck. And as you move back, you can see here on this test boat that we actually have several sets of different sailing equipment. The standard sail plan for the boat is a classic full batten main with a 106% Jeanneau, and that 106% Jeanneau is sheeted using this track right here that's on the coach roof. So again, an advantage that we have on the rest of the Sun Odyssey range is that this track here is up on the coach roof, which gives you two major advantages. One is a nice inboard sheeting angle to your Jeanneau, and the second one is the ability is keeping all the deck hardware off of the side deck. So as you circulate around on the boat with this standard track, you have nothing to stub your toe on, very easy to move around, very clean lines, and again, better sheeting for the jib itself. As we, of course, we adapt the boat to a variety of different sailing needs. One of the things that we have more and more demand for is the self-tacking jib. So we replace the 106% standard jib with a self-tacker, and that self-tacking jib comes with, of course, a track system here that's in front of the mast. One of the advantages of this type of system is compared to what you see on other types of self-tacking is that the sheet for this sail is led back through these through the eyes here all the way to the helm winches, which means that from the helm winch you can control the main sheet, which is on a German sheeting system, and also the self-tacker, which is really a fantastic advantage because the whole point of a self-tacker is for it to be a very easy to use sail, and this makes it very, very easy to use with everything coming right back to the helmsman. Moving on from the standard track here, which can be either fitted with a pin car or an adjustable car system, we have the car system that we use, the car and track system that we use for the large overlapping jib, and that's here on the side deck. That's an option, and with that comes a 140% furling Jeanneau for somebody who is using the boat in a lot more light airs and wants to have more sail area. That is that's an option for people, but the boat itself is designed around the concept of the short overlapping head sail, that 106%. So that's definitely the recommendation. You can see here you've got your main sheet coming down from the boom, and it's again being led underneath what we call the eyebrows of the boat and right back to the helm. So no matter what sail arrangement you use, whether that be the 140%, the standard 106, or even the self-tacking jib, all of your lines are led right back to the helm. So a very, very easy boat to sail on. One of the things that we believe strongly in at Jeanneau, and we know that it makes part of a great seaworthy boat, is the use of a big heavy-duty main sheet track. You find that throughout our Sun Odyssey range, and we have here, of course, a big ball-bearing car with everything led back to the cockpit. The main sheet is a German main sheet system, so going back to either helm winch, and then the track itself adjusted from the winches on the coach roof. You can see on this boat a very, very wide side deck, and that was very important for us to have because it is first and foremost a very seaworthy boat, and it also contributes to the very classic lines that you find on this range of Sun Odyssey. Again, something you find throughout our range, the inboard sheeting, and that inboard sheeting is a huge advantage because it gives you this very easy passage forward. You have here this track that's on the side deck. But as I said before, without this particular option, you would have no deck hardware whatsoever. So very, very easy circulation along the side deck, and an integrated handrail here that runs the whole length of the coach roof for easy movement forward, and a nice footrest here, which is done up in the teak wood on this boat. So it gives it a nice, classy look to the lines. As of with the outside of the boat in the cockpit, you can see that down below we are all on one level. There are no steps. There aren't even any door sills as you walk through the boat. So really a key point is that the boat is very easy to walk around. And of course we have this nice 45-degree angle companionway with very wide steps that are curved also to keep you protected when underway, with nice handrails. So you can see that you have a very easy life outside with the cockpit all on one level. A low door sill, an easy set of steps here to come down the companionway at 45 degrees, and a very level floor that's all living on one level. So those are very much key points that you'll find on the Sun Odyssey 469. We're down below here on the 3-cabin, 3-head version. In this particular version, we have a settee saloon that is the same as all of the other versions of the boat. We have a nav station here that's against the aft panel, which is similar to what we have on the 4-cabin, 4-head version. We have a long galley on this version, and we have, of course, 2 symmetrical aft cabins, each one with their own private head compartment. This is a version that's very well accepted, both in chartering and in owner environments. And of course, all of this comes along with the large forward owner's cabin, and I think we'll start there. The forward owner's cabin is notable in terms of its size and its volume on this boat. One thing you'll see when you walk right in, as I said before, no door sill as you walk in, and a very wide door. So a very easy circulation as you come in. You have a very large bed, a queen-size bed here in the forward cabin. And because we have the sail locker forward, we have a squared off bit at the end of the cabin. So it's really a true island bed. Good access up to each side. Again, we have our hull ports here with our sliding shade system. Lots of opening hatches in this compartment as well. If I look here behind the door, we have a big hanging locker that's right here that goes all the way on through into the lower cabinet. A cabinet underneath. We have a sort of a desk vanity set up here that opens up. We have a mirror. We have a pass-through for the cables, and underneath there are plugs for the shore power system, so you can easily keep a laptop computer in here and use it as you wish, or recharge your telephone, recharge your iPad, all of that done right here. Reading light. We have indirect lighting also in the forward cabin, so you can see up here along this edge that we light up this panel here that's on the wall, as well as the space underneath the bed. On the other side, we have a full-length mirror that's up against the bulkhead for the head compartment, and we have a nice leather handrail. In terms of storage through the rest of the boat, it really is there's a ton of storage, as this is really designed to be the owner's cabin. So of course we have a whole set of cabinets along each side of the hull up above with opening gas shocks, and we have 2 large drawers under the berth, with a third one that is used when we don't have the air conditioning, and we also have an additional hanging locker and cabinet over on the port side of the cabin as well. So really a ton of storage, lots of light, lots of ventilation, large bed with easy access. So really an owner's cabin that you would usually find on a 50-foot boat or even larger. So something we really worked hard to give over as much of the space as possible in this boat to the owner's cabin. Here we're in the owner's forward head compartment. You can see it's a very nice in terms of the volume. We have a very nice molded sink that we have here with a soap dish, nice set of faucets and mixers. Good sized mirror, all LED lighting, which we have here and of course throughout the boat. And we have here a nice little teak seat that is in our shower area. And our shower area is very easy to put into place with a set of folding doors. And this really allows you to have a true shower in a boat this size. And you can see that we very well protect both the toilet here back in the corner as well as the sink. So a very easy area to shower in, to maintain, to clean, and so forth. And in terms of storage, we have storage cabinets here under the sink and outboard. And we have room here to have both the optional holding tank in the forward head and shower. In this 3-cabin, 3-head version, we have our long galley, but the items that you see in the long galley are the same that we use in the L galley that we have on the 3-cabin, 2-head, and we'll speak about that. You can see here we have a double sink with sink covers. One of the sink covers, of course, has a cutting board, which is something we have throughout the range. We have a very large refrigeration and freezer compartment. So on one side, refrigeration with an optional vertical door. And to the other side, an ice box that can be set up as an additional freezer compartment with a separate compressor that is a keel-cooled compressor. So a very efficient system. Storage along the back side with room for a microwave, and plenty of storage here underneath the sink, both in drawers and also with some of the plastic baskets that are very good to remove and to stock up in the car or at the grocery store and bring back and throw into place into the boat. So we have a ton of storage here, and it's the same fridge compartment, freezer, sink, vertical door, the same large 2 or 3 burner stove, depending on your choice, that we use in all the different versions of the galley on this boat. Here we have our main settee and salon area. This is basically the same no matter what version of the boat you take. Some of the biggest differences involve whether or not you'd like to have the deluxe folding table. And this is our deluxe folding table here, which folds right up and it has a storage cabinet underneath. It means that you can very easily access this little corner back here for the nav station. The standard table is a fixed table with 2 removable legs, and those can be removed to be made into a berth. This one here on the fixed bit of furniture, of course, cannot be made into a convertible berth, but there's usually plenty of space on board for people to sleep anyway. On the long galley version, we do offer a bench seat here. The bench seat has the advantage of adding to the number of people who can be seated. So in a version where you might have 3 or 4 cabins and you want to have some additional people around the table, it's perfect. But it's also quite good as to use as a bracing position when you are using the galley underway. So it's something that's very nice, that goes along very well with the long galley. And we don't offer this option on the 3-cabin 2-head version with the L galley. We offer additional seats that can be tied down at sea, but not the full bench seat. We do have some of the items that we had even on our 509, which are these backrest inserts. So you'll see in the various fabric selections of the boat the ability to have different color setups to the backrest. It breaks up a little bit of the monotony of having all one color in the boat, and has been very well received on the 509. And you can see here we have storage cabinets along the back side of the hull. Lots of visibility out through the hull ports, lots of light coming in from both the big flush hatches overhead and the fixed windows on either side, and lots of storage here underneath the settee. We have some dedicated spaces for an air conditioner when you have the air conditioning system. But one of the key things, and we'll see it in the aft cabin, is that a lot of the technical spaces of the boat have been moved to the aft. So an item like a hot water heater, which would usually be placed here underneath the settee, has been put behind the engine in the technical corridor going towards the aft compartment, which means that you liberate a lot of these spaces here, which are often full of technical bits and pieces for storage. And one of the neatest bits of storage here is right at the front end of the settee, and it just opens up on a little gas shock. And you have in here plenty of storage spaces, including a bar cabinet for bottles and some plastic storage compartments for loose items. So something that's very easily accessible right here by the nav station, right by the companionway hatch, and right up on a little gas shock, so very, very easy to use. In both the 3-cabin 3-head and the 4-cabin 4-head version of the boat, the nav station is positioned here at the aft end of the settee, aft facing, similar to what we have on the 509, so a nice sized desk. The possibility of having a television here that it serves both as the television for the salon, but can also be a repeater for navigation information from the GPS. We have a niche area here that we have again in all of the different versions, which allows to put VHF and some other bits and pieces that you have while sailing to keep them out of the way. And behind the nav station itself here, we have the main electrical panels, which would include, of course, the 12-volt panel as well as the shore power panel, along with backlighting, level indicators for battery, fuel, water. This here is a touchscreen DVD player that runs also the television. And here is where we would add additional panels such as inverter, air conditioning, generator panels, and so forth would all be in these spaces, so that you're very easy to get to when you're here. But when you want it to sort of go away, because some of this stuff is not quite as attractive as you'd like, it can all go away behind the panels, and this area becomes a nice clean area for reading, for writing, for using the computer. Plenty of storage here in the nav station desk itself, with again a pass-through for cables and plugs down below, meaning you can plug your computer right in, including to an interface to the navigation system, but also into power for recharging. And a little area here, which is a great space for not only a handhold, but spaces where you could put keys and wallet and telephones and so forth, and have them right handy when you are sailing. The aft cabins on the Sun Odyssey 409 are symmetrical and identical regardless of which version of the boat you choose. They are fairly remarkable in the fact that they're probably the ones that have the most light and most ventilation of its class with all of its competition. You can see here we have a technical space here running down between the two cabins, which helps isolate one cabin from the other and takes into account a lot of the mounting of all of the additional equipment, autopilot computers, air conditioners, hot water heaters, as well as all of the bits and pieces for the engine and engine ventilation, which means that all of that is here and no longer in the rest of the boat, so a very good use of space between the aft cabins. The width of the aft cabins is also remarkable in this size, and it's mainly due to the use of a hull with an exterior hull chine, which gives us additional width, certainly at the aft end of the berth. The other features include the fact that we have here a possibility of an indirect lighting system. So not only do we use a white panel here to help give a real feeling of additional space, but we have it when it is lit with its indirect lighting system, which is controlled just right here underneath the hanging locker. Really lights up the space quite a bit. All LED lighting, LED of course reading lights, as well as overhead lights in the boat. We have a hull port with a sliding shade system that we use, our aviation shade system that we use throughout the boats. We have a bit of the fixed window, but we also have an opening hatch that goes out onto the deck, as well as two opening ports. One opening port here in the cockpit, and another one here onto the cockpit seating, which is right at eye level as you walk in. So it's a superb location for visibility, light, ventilation. So in an aft cabin like this, you have 5 points of light, 3 of which are opening. So really a key feature of these aft cabins is that as opposed to most aft cabins, they have light, ventilation, volume, storage. It's really, they're really fantastic spaces to live. This is the aft head in this 3-cabin, 3-head setup, but it's the exact same one that we have to either side in the aft cabins of that version, and the exact same head that we use in the 4-cabin, 4-head version, of which we place 4 of these heads, 2 of them being, of course, symmetrical, port and starboard. You can see here that it's, even though it's a head on a boat that would be for more of a charter use type head, we've given a lot of volume and light over to it. We have a nice mirror. We have plenty of light and ventilation coming in from the side deck windows and opening ports. We have storage underneath the sink, storage outboard behind the cabinets. Even if you have the holding tank, you have that storage. Our nice molded sink that you find throughout the Sun Odyssey 409 heads, along with a shower that you can hang up on the wall and use the space as a shower, and a very large marine head that can be also an electric head if you wish. Plenty of access to the technical bits and pieces, through hulls and hosing in the head compartment as well, and of course an integrated shower pump to use the space as a shower. Just behind the very gentle companionway that we have on the boat is a very easy lift-up panel that's on gas shocks. It gives you access to the engine compartment. You can see here that we've placed the engine start battery here forward in the engine compartment, along with the raw water inlet filter. In addition, we have the front end of the engine, which is very accessible, with its water pump, which is something that needs to be changed and checked from time to time, and of course all of the filters and so forth that are on the front of the engine. So excellent access forward on the engine. And the other thing is, as we spoke about this technical access on the back side, all of those panels can be removed both on the side of the engine and behind it to get access to the rest of the bits and pieces. We do have within the engine compartment itself things like the engine ventilator air pump, which means that which is something that is usually the blower, which is usually quite noisy, is also benefits from the soundproofing of the engine. And we've given the engine lots of room around it because that helps bring down the sound level of the engine itself. So between this being a sail drive 54 horsepower engine and the fact that we have an installation that is very, very clean and well insulated. You can show people the thickness of the insulation that is around the engine. You'll have a very quiet engine with very little vibration.